halftime.
As the second half begins here in the Madre de Ciudades, Argentina with a 5-0 lead. As the second half, of course, amidst all the madness, all the chaos, Peter, and then, of course, don't try and understand it. That's just the way it is.
No, absolutely. We're still waiting just for the halftime music to finish.
Hey, but you know,
we're back underway.
Yeah, exactly. They just kept going, but it's okay. Actually, you know what? Kind of a different little vibe that you have, especially with the music in the background. The referee, Gustavo Tejera's like, okay, what do I do? He says, well, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to stick by the book and start the second half, which he did. Argentina up 5-0, and you can, like I said, don't try and understand that that's just the way things are. As of right now, no substitutions. Nothing being confirmed as of yet for either side, as a matter of fact. As Curacao and Argentina come out with the same 22 that went into halftime just moments ago. Recovering that ball, Gonzalo Montiel. McAllister. Alexis. Gonzalez, as he gets bumped off the ball, but continues with the play. It goes to McAllister. Oh, Peter, I don't know. Who's going to take that ball?
That's a big question, isn't it? Well, we saw Panama make the mistake of giving Lionel Messi almost a record amount of opportunities from free kicks. Hit the woodwork twice, one of those leading to the opening goal before he eventually found the net himself directly from this kind of position. And for the first time tonight, having already bagged a hat-trick, Messi gets another shot.
The chance to get yet another opportunity for a fourth goal in the match. Looking for the poker here, Leo Messi. Yeah, I was being rhetorical with that question, as a matter of fact, just in case you had a doubt. Rarely will you ever say that a player has better odds of hitting the post than to hit it over. But then again, that's just the player that we're dealing with right now. It'll be Messi. Looking for his fourth goal. Messi! Oh, I guess I did end up jinxing him.
Over the crossbar this time. Rare off-target effort from Lionel Messi. Perhaps just a shade too close to the edge. Couldn't keep that one down, and we're already going to see some changes, and it's going to be one of the fan favourites, Juan Rodrigo de Paul.
It'll be Rodrigo de Paul coming on. Most likely for Gio Lo Celso. Also, well, there's 3 substitutions coming on. We'll give you those others in just a moment. Messi gets the ball from Montiel. Continuing McAllister. McAllister with some room, leaving it for Nico Gonzalez. And Montiel ever so close to getting his goal.
Yeah, in the end, Gonzalez opting to lift that cross, I think, makes it all the more difficult for anyone to get a touch there. We'll see that triple change coming up in just a moment. But Rodrigo de Paul, we see there pictured, one of those to come in. Even against Panama, De Paul was the man bossing that midfield, dominating possession, finding the passes. And now we're going to see at least the lion's share of this second half once again, as he comes in to replace Alexis McAllister in that midfield 3.
We talked about Enzo Fernandez. We talked about De Paul. We didn't talk about McAllister because McAllister also was very key when levels of play ended up going down. Ezequiel Palacios and Juan Foyt also coming on. So Enzo Fernandez comes off. And
Nico Otamendi comes out for Juan Foyt, who often, especially for Argentina and for Real as well, playing at right back, but we'll get an opportunity here in the centre of defence.
Now, by trade, he is a central defender. It's just that he ended up being switched at right back, and of course, a couple of those experiments ended up working. Now, the one that did that switch was Lionel Scaloni. Remember the Copa America in 2019? He decides to put Foyt at right back.
Yeah, one of those moves that I think, again, a lot of people would have raised eyebrows, particularly when you consider it that Copa America coming up directly against Neymar for Brazil. A lot of people looked at that matchup and thought he's going to have Foyt on toast, but he was excellent, and he's always done a very good job for Argentina at right back.
Yes. So 3 substitutions made. Of course, right there you heard the ovation for Rodrigo de Paul, former Racing player. It's recovered by Curacao. Angelo Yanga. Randy Cuas. As it goes out of bounds, it'll continue being possession for Curacao. As I said, it's been topsy-turvy for Curacao over the past few years. If there was a team that was affected by the pandemic, it was them. Why do I say that? Because there was a moment where they were looking to take that leap in quality. And mind you, this is after Renko Vicentini ends up taking over Curacao. They end up having successful Gold Cups. But, of course, the FA wanted a little bit more, and they had the opportunity of hiring Gus Hiddink. So what did they do? They hired Gus Hiddink. They basically had told him, hey, look, you can either stay as one of Hiddink's assistants to give him a better idea of how the national team, of how basically Curacao football and the players in Curacao, whether they play domestically or abroad, end up kind of comporting, end up working, and, you know, kind of get a better vibe. He said, no, thank you very much. And he ends up leaving as coach of Curacao. And the pandemic hits. Gus Hiddink doesn't have a lot of success of being able to go to Curacao and do the scouting and doing the proper work. He eventually leaves. Patrick Kluivert comes in once again. And of course, he didn't have too much success in his second go-around with the Caribbean side. Free kick coming up here for Curacao. It's Leandro Bacuna. He's just waiting. Goes right off the wall, courtesy of Branly Cuas. Eloy Rom. Speaking of coaching changes, interesting to hear that Ibarra's out at Boca. Messi. I'll just leave that one bouncing there for you to kind of hit with the outside of your right foot, Peter.
Yeah, I don't think too much of a surprise within Argentine football to hear that news just before kickoff, given the struggles of Boca Juniors this season.
It is, wait, there is one thing that's funny about it, because the person that confirmed it just a couple of days ago said it wasn't going to happen, which was Chicho Serna. He was being interviewed, what was it, on Saturday? Said, no, he's there. I think he's able to do it. Oh, nice nutmeg there. There's Lo Celso being able to get past 2 defenders. Lautaro Martinez, if he cuts inside, it could be 6. Lautaro! Wrong! Once again, slamming the door shut.
And once again, absolutely brilliant from Lo Celso. Gets away from his man with a delicious nutmeg. And everyone's expecting him just to open up the play down that left-hand side, and he reverses it into the space for Lautaro Martinez.
Messi. De Paul. So keep in mind that, of course, there's a lot of movement on the Curacao bench as well. Messi wanted to let that ball go through, but Cuco Martino, the very experienced central defender, he's played as right central defender, left central defender, right back so far tonight alone. Breaking through, Branly Cuas going up against Herman Pizzela. Finally goes out of bounds, ran out of room there. Dibu Martinez. Very tight bit of space, brought down very well. Messi waiting for the ball. Also, Lo Celso getting into the area. Lautaro! And Rome once again. That's what, 7 saves for the Curacao goalkeeper.
How many times has he denied Lautaro Martinez? This was the best moment for Lautaro. He was snatching a couple earlier tonight, but this time brilliant to keep the ball in play and then driving there forward towards the edge. Desperate for a goal, the Interman.
Messi trying to curl it through. And it was funny because you were hearing from the stand saying, Messi, make it, score an Olímpico. As of right now, Eloy Rom being credited with 5 saves, 11 total shots on target. Actually 6, I should say. Has 2 substitutions coming on for Curacao. Richario. See how this play develops. Richario Sikovic getting ready to come on. Jeremy Antonis ends up also being one of the options coming off the bench for Remco Vicentini. Ezequiel Palacios, as he gets that touch, finally ends up circulating all the way to Gonzalo Montiel. He was already complaining of the calf, now favoring his right arm. Come on. Will come off. And then Kenji Gore will also come off as well.
After a brightish start in those opening couple of minutes where Curacao were getting forward in numbers, looked as though Gore and Kanga might be able to have some influence on the game. It's been a very disappointing close to an hour for the pair of them, just unable to really get involved in any attacking sense, unable to really help out the side defensively as well. Not in their place, Ivkovic and Antonise. See if they can have any more joy.
Dibu. Cuco Martina was the one that was tracking over on the far side, and it was eventually, you see Foyt getting into the bit of action. Foyt again recovering that ball. And I point that out because Cuco Martina, like I said before, he was playing at right back. He was playing as a center back. You see him right there in the middle of the screen covering Lautaro Martinez. So he's been roaming all over the place over the past few minutes, just kind of nodding that ball, nudging it over towards Messi. Rom. Florenus. Again coming up short. Here's a chance for Messi. Does he get there first? No. It ends up being Roshan Vanima that slides in just in the nick of time. Florenus. Antonise, who loses it. Ezequiel Palacios, Juan Foyt. Montiel. Palacios. Is there a foul? Yes, the referee finally takes a little bit of time, but he does call it there. In the end, it'll end up being a free kick. There's the man that was being honored amongst many that were. Chiqui Tapia, the president of the Argentine FA. You have to keep in mind that this year is an election year in Argentina, not just country-wise, but also within the FA. Odds are that Chiqui Tapia will be re-elected, especially with everything he's been able to do.
going to say.
Knowing, I mean, you have to remember, Peter. Sorry, go ahead.
Difficult when you've won the trophies Argentina have done over the last couple of years to think of changing things up at the AFA. And even though maybe you could have questions from a club perspective in Argentina, there'll be nothing but success for the national team, which I think is ultimately going to be how they will review Chiqui Tapia.
Also keep in mind that Chiqui Tapia and the Argentine FA is, again, losing the ball. Trying to create a good opportunity here. It was Antonice who has to play that ball back into the middle. Antonice getting it on the return. Giving good circulation to Florianus. Chiqui Tapia also confirmed that there's a shot just way misdirected by Sherelle Florianus. That in the event that the Under-20 World Cup is not played in Indonesia, of course, all the issues that are going on there, does he end up coming on? I digress. If that Under-20 World Cup that's supposed to be played in a couple of months in Indonesia is not played, hey, Argentina, we can do it. Now, that ends up being a bit of a complication because many of the venues in which the Under-20 World Cup would be played would mean that the stadiums would have to be pretty much made unavailable for club teams, and you're playing in the middle of club season. And here's a very important free kick coming up as Juninho Bacuna ends up going down just a couple of meters outside of the area. We'll see if Dibu Martinez ends up getting called into action.
Well, he may well do. It's the best chance in the game for Curacao. Bacuna driving there onto the edge. Patsela with just a little bit of a reckless challenge. Sort of challenge maybe someone makes it 5-0 up.
Both Bacunas behind the ball. Leandro took it first. Juninho now takes another takes it away from his brother. So who ends up getting all the slack from practice? Who's playing Crocodile? There's a good chance from way out and way over. As it was Leandro Bacuna.
Like
knocks that ball way over target.
A bit like Messi's just a little while ago from right on the edge of the box. Always going to be difficult to get it over that wall and down in time. And just like Messi, Bacuna couldn't do that over the top.
I mean, who do you start looking at? I mean, you saw the players that are warming up for Argentina. You still have 3 more options to come off the bench. Do you bring in a Di Maria? Nico Gonzalez, pretty much mission accomplished. Everything that you asked for him, he's been able to do, including scoring a goal. Do you need to see more?
Yeah, I think that would be the natural change, wouldn't it? If you're going to bring in Di Maria, give these supporters a chance to see one of the heroes of the World Cup. It's been a good run out for Nico Gonzalez, having over an hour now, got his goal as well. A lot of players there that will be hoping to get some minutes in the last half an hour.
As we do progress through this match, quickly moving 63 minutes into this match, in Argentina cruising to a 5-0 advantage, if you want to call it that. Lo Celso. Foyt. Palacios. He's trying to give it movement, but now you start to see more pressure in the middle as a substitution coming on for Curacao as well. We'll give you indications in just a second in terms of who and who. Juninho Bacuna. Florianus making a mad dash towards goal. And another foul. As with every passing minute, it seems, oh, well, 5-0. Okay, fine. Yeah, we can relax a bit. Rodrigo de Paul committing another foul. As Bacuna goes to ground, and it'll be another free kick for Curacao.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're seeing now. As the second half draws on, an Argentina team that have certainly dropped in intensity, and it's in that midfield where we're seeing it to Paul and Palacios, both very deep there, no longer really going to apply pressure on Curacao high up the pitch, trying to win it back and put pressure on their back line, instead allowing the visitors little spells of possession.
Bacuna, that's a go. Of course, keep in mind that him and Rangel Ollanja tied for the all-time leading goal scorer. Di Maria coming on. Di Maria will come on. He'll replace Gio Lo Celso. Lautaro Martinez will come off. He'll be replaced by Paulo Dybala. Is the Roma man coming on?
Brilliant night for Gio Lo Celso, reminding the supporters, even if he wasn't there in Qatar, of his talents. Difficult when someone scored a hat-trick, when you're in conversation about the man of the match, but for me, Lo Celso would be right up there. What he's been able to do. It's been maybe, by contrast, a bit of a frustrating night for Lautaro Martinez. From minute one, when he missed that sitter, he's just unable to finally break that run without the goal for the national team. And he presents himself here with an opportunity for another guy who's had a difficult time for the national team, Paulo Dybala.
38th cap for Paulo Dybala. Meanwhile, for Angel Di Maria, it'll be his 131st, as he ends up getting closer and closer to the top three. Of course, still a long ways away from Javier Zanetti, who has 145. A few years ago, it seemed almost impossible for anyone to even remotely come close to Pupi Zanetti's record, and since then, two players surpassed him, Javier Mascherano and, of course, Leo Messi, who way blew that mark away, as well as Mascherano's, I should say. De Paul sending that ball deep. It's about as deep as we've seen Argentina send a ball in quite a long time. And it's interesting to see Lo Celso leave, because now Di Maria, you would have thought it would have been Nico Gonzalez, but Di Maria going back to his natural position. There was a great story that came out during this international break about Di Maria playing over on the left. In that final against France, I should say.
It's another one of those moments we have to credit Scaloni for making that switch. Bear in mind as well, before Qatar, I think a lot of people looked at Scaloni still and said, well, he's done wonders with the morale of the team and built a great spirit. But there's still questions about him tactically. Still don't quite know, in a major tournament, during games, whether he can make the switches to make Argentina even more dangerous. And I think he answered so many of those critics, not just with that change. We've already talked as well about the changes in the midfield, bringing in Enzo Fernandez and McAllister, but I think he was then able to finally answer some of those critics and say, I'm not just here for morale side of things. I haven't just rebuilt that. I'm also able to adapt and play in certain different ways depending on the opponent.
And that was one of the things that when you heard, I mean, at least when you were in Qatar, you ended up seeing from many in the media really hailing Scaloni, because he even admitted, look, I made mistakes, but I was able to always backtrack and be able to correct them, knowing, okay, I made a mistake here, especially in the Saudi Arabia match, what he was able to do, and then finally right the course eventually. It wasn't something that you saw Argentina obviously losing their first match, but with every match that followed, they weren't playing great football. But with each and every match, they continued to improve. which ends up being a positive. Great ball by Messi. Here's another chance. Celoy Rum. That's number 7 for the 34-year-old goalkeeper. It'll be another goal kick for, a corner kick for Argentina.
It's another clear chance as well again. Messi, it is floating around, gets that ball off Palacios, spots the run early of Gonzalez in behind the fullback, and he can't quite set himself to get the shot off.
Huevo Acuña, Messi. Of course, when Di Maria's over on the right, Messi floats a little bit. Watch him floating over, trying to find that ball. The header! Wide. This time it was Nico Gonzalez, or excuse me, it was Dybala that was trying to strike that ball through.
Yeah, Dybala also floating now through the middle, which is always interesting when Dybala comes on, and often it is off the bench for Argentina to see which positions he takes up, because so often early on in his Argentina career, and he spoke about it himself, the difficulty he had playing in the same team as Lionel Messi, of wanting to drift over onto this right-hand side and take up similar kind of positions. And in the end, I think it probably cost him. I think managers then looked at him and said, well, if you're not comfortable, then maybe there's no place.
Now Curacao trying to play out. It's still in bounds. 2 substitutions coming on for the Caribbean. Giovanni Truppe coming on. Sander Severina also making his appearance. Sander Severina playing for ADO Den Haag in the Netherlands. Messi. There was an entanglement. The referee wants to be as diplomatic as possible. So it's 5-0, guys. Come on.
Free kick just on the edge of the box, rather than some of the initial calls. Well, he hasn't even given that. He's doing nothing in the end.
He took the more Solomonic route. He ended up saying, you know what, let me just, yeah, it's a goal kick. Guys are winning 5-0. So coming on is Giovanni Truppe, as Roshan Banema ends up coming off. And I said before, Sander Severina replacing Brandy Cuas.
The debuts, Severina coming in, as you mentioned, playing his football at Den Haag, the 21-year-old. Run out here.
Meanwhile, Giovanni Truppe playing over in the Bulgarian First Division. Over at Lokomotiv Plovdiv. So 1 more sub for Argentina. 2 more for Curacao. Messi. Di Maria. Video. Pushing that ball through. Dybala wanting to force it. Dybala turning around. Dybala winning or losing that ball, but it recovered eventually by Huevo Acuña. Ezequiel Palacios. Rodrigo de Paul. Argentina just casually knocking the ball around from one end to the other. Good ball by Di Maria, just a little bit too far for Messi to get to it. Now, it's 5-0, but you end up having to say, you know what, if not for Eloy Rom, this game would be 8, maybe 9, maybe 10.
Yeah,
Easily.
When you think of not just the saves he's made, but the quality of the chances that Argentina have been able to make as well.
Yes, sir. In addition to that, pushing forward Curacao, despite being down 5-0, Cuco Martina urging his troops on. Very poor pass by Floranus. Palacios comes up short. Taken away in the middle of the pitch by Curacao, looking to get one more. Or looking to get their first one, I should say. There's Truppe. one thing we can say, at least Curacao's tried to play football. Panama just dropped back and held on for dear life. There's Juninho Bacuna, the younger of the Bacuna brothers. As we get into the 75th minute of play here at the Madre de Ciudades. By the way, it's not going to be over yet. There'll be a lot of post-game activities going on here at the Madre de Ciudades. If I'm not mistaken, the delegation's going to fly back to Buenos Aires tonight. And of course, everyone will be cleared, and they'll end up going back to their respective teams as early as tomorrow morning. Oh, a big mistake there by Foyt, but recovered just in time. Montiel getting past two defenders, looking to get past the third. Alana's moving in the middle and completely all by himself. Yeah, that man. Messi has four options. Looking to run through. Messi back out wide. Stays a little bit short for the option down the left side. Di Maria. Dybala back out wide. Messi knocking it back and forth in very reduced space. Looking for Di Maria. Has a man open in Rodrigo de Paul. Ends up going out of bounds.
Very, very tight in there. Messi, Dybala, all involved. Great footwork here from Dybala to find Di Maria. He does get a little pull back there by Bacuna before his shot's blocked.
Di Maria. Angel has room. It'll be a handball.
Don't want to be giving
now,
Di Maria that kind
was it
of
a penalty
space when he
or
comes
was
inside onto his left foot.
Was it a penalty inside of the area? That's what the referee's calling, or it looks like it. Let's see. Right there. The position I wasn't sure exactly. Now, it'll be Di Maria. Franco Armani is about to come on. As one of the heroes for Argentina in that match against France. Looking to get on the score sheet. It'll be Di Maria. Di Maria! Di Maria with his 29th goal for the Argentine national team, 6-0.
Well, normally the number 10 would be reserved for those duties, but he's already got himself a hat-trick, so it's another one of the favourites, another one of the icons from this era for Argentina. And Angel Di Maria makes no mistake, as you said before, rapidly rising up the list of most appearances, and so too the most goals. Number 29 rapidly closing in on the 6th place, Gonzalo Higuain. And once you get above then, it's a who's who really of Argentine football. Maradona, Crespo, Agüero, Batistuta, and of course Messi. Listen to that response for Dibu Martinez. One of the biggest characters in Argentine football. A remarkable, remarkable story of Dibu Martinez. And now taking his place, almost second only to Lionel Messi in terms of popularity in the national team.
And we go from the starter in 2022 to the starter in the World Cup in 2018. Well, part of that World Cup in 2018 in Franco Armani. The lone player representing the Argentine LPF, is he still with River Plate? And he too, at River, has established himself with a very impressive legacy. And then you've talked about how much longer will Armani remain at River. been lots of speculation whether he will head back to Colombia, whether he'll retire, whether he'll go elsewhere. As another short ball, it'll be another corner as it's cleared away. Di Maria, it's cleared away. As now you start to hear the chants echoing throughout all four corners of the Madre de Ciudades here in Argentina. And two more substitutions for Curacao. Amongst them, there'll be Godfrey Romeratoy. And a yellow card being issued. First of the match.
There's been absolutely no need for any cards, but Rodrigo Paul's been on the pitch for a short amount of time, and suddenly out comes the yellow.
Bacuna. Now, if we start looking at Curacao players that stood out, or silver linings, if you will, amongst very dark clouds, well, you'd have to start out with that man right there, Juninho Bacuna. Well, maybe not start with him. You have to start with Eloy Rom, but he'd be amongst those that have to be considered. Messi looking for number 4. Great save by Rom as he rushed out, and the Columbus crewman has been just absolutely phenomenal as it's a yellow card. Now the yellow cards are coming out. Vernon Anita.
Yeah, Anita, the first of the Curacao players, just catching Gonzalez there, just after yet another save for Eloy Rum. And when we're talking about the quality of chances, that's another one. Messi 1v1. Ordinarily, that ends up with the ball in the back of the net. And Argentina with the 7th goal. Still might from the resulting free kick.
Oh, yeah, he's not out of the woods yet. It'll be Messi with some distance. That seems more like 10 meters. Messi just hung it too much.
He hasn't got quite fired in tonight from those free kicks. 2 opportunities, both occasions over the top of the crossbar this evening. Thursday seemed to be threatening the goal every single time he stood over a set play.
Coming off will be, of course, the aforementioned Vernon Anita. He will be replaced by Godfrey Romeratoy. Also coming on will be Kevin Ferita.
Final stages of the game. Curacao getting plenty to have a run out here.
So that is it for Curacao. That is it also for Argentina, as they use their final sub on Franco Armani. This would be just on the verge of one of Argentina's biggest blowouts in history. There's still 10 that are bigger than this one. Good ball that goes through, but Armani there to scoop it up. They get one more down to being amongst the top 10. Why do I say that? Because obviously this 6-0 would be, I guess, on par with a victory that that Argentina had against Colombia back in 1957. It was an 8-2 victory against Los Cafeteros back in the 1957 South American Championships, of course, later known as Copa America. Messi looking for number 4. Messi cutting back inside. Messi! Rom once more.
It's an excellent stop again. This time not a clear-cut chance, but one that Messi creates for himself, just driving forward onto that left foot, and it's another excellent stop, getting down low, full stretch to put it behind for a corner.
That's shot number 25 by Argentina. Rom has 9 saves. There's an offside being called.
Yeah, the only blot really on the copybook of Rom tonight was probably that Nico Gonzalez goal, where he probably should have come and been a lot stronger for that ball in the air. Otherwise, can't really criticise him for the 6 goals conceded, but you can certainly credit him.
No, absolutely not.
Certainly credit him for keeping this down below double figures.
Well, wait, maybe one. The one that Nico Gonzalez scored that he wasn't able to clear out.
Yeah, that was the only one.
Outside of that, everything else. I'm sorry?
That was the one I mentioned, the only one.
Yeah. Here's another chance to make it 7. And the ball goes through. Oh! Gonzalo Montiel makes it 7. And yes, on this one, he had nothing that he could do.
And he still tried.
7-0.
Still tried to claw that one back from the goal line, but this time Room can't keep it out, and Montiel gets his first goal, or certainly first goal from open play for Argentina. The man who scored the decisive penalty in the World Cup final against France, and all the more important goal than the one tonight, but still marking his 23rd appearance with his first goal for the national team, making it 7-0.
And now we can start talking about his story. Why? Because it's the first time since 2015 that Argentina have beaten a team by 7 goals. Now, of course, Curacao could score 1 here and everything will change. It was a 7-0 victory for Argentina against Hong Kong. De Paul, it'll be a corner. That wasn't the only one. A year before that, in October of 2014, good ball through. Di Maria, Rom once again. The rebound, of course, all invalidated as there was an offside call. In 2014, Argentina beat Bolivia 7-0 as well. And, of course, I have to go back in the time machine a little bit further back. They beat Paraguay 8-1 in the 1947 South American Championships, as I said before, the Copa America. As Argentina recovering that ball again. Messi looking, just lurking inside of the area, seeing if he can get a chance. Messi trying to take it to the line, and it'll end up being a goal kick. As we're into the, we're agonizing seconds in this match. Yeah, we can say that we've been done and dusted for a while.
And Lionel Messi still on the pitch, as we were questioning at half-time how long he'd be out there for. And here he is, right at the death, still trying to add more. We talk about the record books there from an Argentinian perspective, Juan, but the worst defeat suffered by Curacao, before they were Curacao, was 8-0.
Messi tried to toe poke it through. And, I forgot one more. It was 8-1. Did I mention that one? The 8-1 against Paraguay? Yeah, I did. Don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have much more here from Santiago del Estero, as Argentina will come away with another victory. So Argentina have won, or have only lost 1 out of their last 45 matches. Now, is that applicable in this context? Maybe not. But it just shows you that the team's mindset. You know, everyone was waiting. Well, you know what? Yeah, they had, what was it, 34, 35, almost equaling Italy's mark. They were waiting for the first sign of adversity to come through. It came through. And they still were able to overcome it. And how did they overcome it? Boy, in a big way. As far as Argentina's concerned, well, they'll have to wait until the month of June. Like I said before, there's rumors of them going to Asia on an Asian tour. There's been talk about Bangladesh. There's been talk about India. There's been talk about China. Whatever other areas you want to talk about is a good ball going through. This could be the chance, trying to heel flick it over. But, of course, to no avail. As Argentina have come away with a big win. Of course, big in terms of their communion with fans. Big in terms of the score sheet. Big in terms of history. And also knowing that this is pretty much where the celebration ends. And starting in June, that's where, let's see who Messi gives the perfect choice. Yes, sir. He's the one that deserves it.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
There's no. Yeah. Man of the match. But yes, after this, Leo Scaloni and company know exactly what is going to start happening. Their focus is solely on World Cup qualifying en route to North America 2026.
And the Scaloneta just keeps on rolling. Not the biggest test here tonight by any stretch of the imagination. It was more about the occasion, but all the same, Argentina just swept aside Curacao. 7-0 winners here. And the scoreline, which if anything flatters the visitors, that man who just came away with the Messi shirt.